Welcome to the King Christian
and Queen Linda podcast,
where our mission is to bring you the latest and greatest information on health, wellness,
and everything in between to help you become a stronger and more confident version of yourself.
Welcome to podcast number 12. Today we're going to talk to you about gimmicks, hacks, fad diets, and that's right, six-pack abs.
Ooh, you mean like 6-second abs?
Or lack thereof. So I want you to visualize with me for a second.
Everybody will.
So you've been trying to lose weight, right? You've been just busting your butt. You've tried low carb. You've tried no carb.
You've tried high carb.
You've tried low fat. You've tried no fat. So you decide to buy a piece of equipment that you've seen on this mesmerizing infomercial. You see it, right? Right before your eyes.
We all know it.
Just buy this piece of equipment for 3 easy payments of $19.99. The shake weight, right? And
That's right.
It ends up becoming an expensive coat rack. And you just ride this thing
Or
till the
dust collector.
Till the wheels fall off and don't lose a pound. So, it happens. There's many of you out there who have seen these infomercials and you've seen these machines and they promise all these results. And you see these people who are absolutely shredded and in the greatest shape of their life. And it's all because of this one piece of garbage.
Shaker weight. The thing is that they prey on people that just sit home and wish that they could get in shape or hate going to the gym, or those are the people that sit there and buy this stuff. And these companies make millions of dollars. When you probably think about, I haven't looked up the statistics, probably should have, but how many shaker weights probably were actually sold and maybe what the company's net worth was at one particular time. But I remember just the commercials and of course all the skits on like Saturday Night Live and some of the talk show people making fun of the shaker weight and how you hold it and what you actually do with it. And some of the images that they made people think about. But it's probably just sitting in a box somewhere in someone's home with dust on it or under old books and whatever.
Exactly. I remember my first exposure to one of those was the Thigh Master.
Yes.
My mom had one. It had like a red little center spring, and then the little side pieces that touch your thighs were blue. And I could not figure out for the life of me what this thing was under her bed. And I'd play with that thing all day. I'd squeeze it together and let it fling across the room, and I'd jump on it and hit my cat with it. And
is it a boomerang? What is it?
Oh, my God. I had no clue. And, of course, that's
Same
where it
thing.
stayed. It stayed under her bed. You never used it. And so one thing about these pieces of equipment, I'm sure you can already tell what we think of a lot of these. There's a lot of the Body by Jake stuff.
Right.
And first thing is, if you want a completely fit body, if you buy a machine that only does one thing, then that's the only thing you can ever do with it. And
sit and spin or twist or...
If you're going to sit there and look at these commercials and you see this, let's say a guy, and the dude looks like he's 220. He's probably got definitely got single digits body fat. And he's just using that shake weight and he's the burn. Oh, man, how do you get big legs like that? Well, first of all, you can't get legs with a shake weight.
Right,
so they're already lying to you. The statement we all have heard and we all know is true is if it sounds too good to be true,
it probably is.
It definitely is. Especially with reference to these items.
And then especially the time of year too, when they sell these products at the beginning of the year around now, this time, New Year's or that spring leading into summer time period, or even, right before the holidays start is really when they hit people. And it's always like, but wait, there's more. Not only can you get the shaker weight, but you can get a baby shaker weight with it, and it's a smaller version of, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Yeah, for your infants.
Yeah, there's always another catch, or there's always some more little tidbits that they try to sell you. But the Thigh Master, I remember Suzanne Summers selling that on TV. I never had one. My mom never had one, but I mean, it just looked like a piece of junk that if you snapped it the wrong way, it was going to break after you made your 3 payments of $19.99.
Yeah, and just a shout out to all the guys out there. I was a young lion when Suzanne Summers was on TV, and I remember getting up at 5 a.m. because I had to see her work out in that unitard. I was like, oh, Suzanne. And then I was like, oh, she's just full of crap. Okay, cool. But anyways.
But she's selling Thigh Masters.
Oh, my God, like hotcakes.
Like hotcakes.
Jeez. So
I love it.
The reality is any of these machines that you see, whenever there's a special on these things and they're only sold on infomercials, or you might see them at like Walmart or Target or something like that. But then in everyday life, you never hear someone come up to you who's like a high-level athlete or in amazing shape and say to you, you know what? I can only attribute my amazing physique and fitness to the Thigh Master or the shake weight or fill in the blank. It's always hard work, consistency, and the things that no one likes to do. Well, you don't like to do it beforehand, but once you see the results, then you like to do it.
So what about all these, you got to love all the different time periods. They have like 6-second abs, 8-minute abs, 10-minute abs. And, the commercials are so misleading because they usually have people that are, fluffy around the middle, trying to be nice. And, they're all of a sudden they bought the 8-minute, 6-minute, 10-minute, 1-second ab program, and now they're, shredded and ripped.
Voila.
They've got biceps and they've got calves and quads, all from this 6-minute abs.
They got abs on their back. And
it's usually some buff, ripped guy and some chick in a bikini, and they're, all oiled up.
Exactly. Hey, and we know about that. We compete, so we know about being oiled up.
I know, but we didn't just use the 6-minute abs shaker weight Thigh Master.
Oh, no. 6-year abs. And what's funny is also as time has gone on. So I remember seeing the abs things when I was in high school and probably before that. And it started off as 30-minute abs, and then it was 15, and then it was 13. And it seemed like each year or every couple of years, the ab workouts became a little bit shorter in time. But what's interesting is that as the ab workouts got shorter, the rate of obesity in the U.S. has increased. Mm-hmm. So it has nothing to do with and first of all, you couldn't dream to do abs in 6 seconds. We were just to amuse ourselves. We were looking online at the different ab gimmicks, and they literally have 6-second abs. So you're gonna tell me that you put 6 seconds, and I don't even know how long. What duration they expect you to see results in, but let's say 6 seconds a week.
Yeah, I know.
You can't do anything for 6 seconds a week and become good at it. You tell me one thing.
And then what kind of abs are we doing? Are we doing full sit-ups? Are we doing crunches? Are we hanging knee up? Like, what are we doing for those 6 seconds? But and the funny thing too is, Christian, is that I think the shorter, like 10-minute abs, 8-minute abs, seconds, whatever it is, the shorter it gets, I think the more they sell the product, because people are like, shit, I can have a 6-pack in like 5 seconds a day.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm gonna pay $100 for that.
Yeah, and they give you, the selling points of who has time for the gym?
Who has time for 10-minute
all
abs?
this bulky equipment that you can't figure out how to use it. But what's funny is when you go to the gym, there's instructions on each machine, and you can always ask somebody. But anyways,
I know it's pretty funny. I love it.
And who has time, and who has expensive gym memberships? And what's funny is, buying this machine in the amount of time you're going to use it. Let's say you use it you get a good 3 days out of it, right? You just paid $100 for 3 days when you could go to a gym and pay $40 a month.
I know, it's pretty funny.
It's
very comical. It's and then you see a lot of this stuff too in the magazines. It's always back in the days when people really read magazines. I guess they still have magazines now, but when you go to the back pages where they have all all that stuff in the back, like the miracle diet pills and the miracle this and the miracle that. So it's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. And, just always have I call them your antennas up. And if somebody's trying to sell you something that's in less time and quicker and you get amazing results, just ask yourself, have I seen anyone who's actually succeeded with this? Mm-hmm. And why don't I see people who are in great shape actually using it?
I know.
Right? And that's because it doesn't work.
So we've made quite a list of gimmicks, hacks, fads, and things here before we decided to talk about this. But one of the ones that I think is pretty funny, and I think most of everybody listening will remember this, are the toning shoes and the fit flops that were supposed to help tone your legs and your butt and all that. People wear these shoes around, little fit flops. Everybody remembers those. They were popular maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Remember seeing those? So
I do remember. I mean, there's been all kinds of things. There's been toning shoes. Yeah, toning shoes. Skechers sold them.
Yep.
And they basically had an arched base, and it was supposed to promote more work on your stride.
Right.
And the interesting thing is from a person who has spent years, speaking of myself, studying movement from experts. All it actually does is make your ankles dysfunctional because your body's not meant to walk on these weird, pillowy, crappy shoes.
It feels like you're unbalanced too.
Yes.
And I wonder how many people actually probably twisted their ankles while they were walking in them.
Plenty.
So
I mean, rolled ankles, it happens all the time. It's just you don't hear about it, Again, and the infomercials are here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
And it's you notice how every season, like Linda said, when they prey on your emotions. It's the beginning of the year, and the first thing I'll say is, and again, this is a whole nother podcast, but where it's, it's the beginning of the year, it's time to get in shape, the New Year's resolution. And they're like, we got to make something to sell to these people. So as soon as January 1st, sometimes they wait a couple days, this new thing is out, and it's supposed to make you an amazing person in again, 6 seconds or less. And you have a genuine desire to improve yourself.
Right.
So you become very vulnerable to being sold these pieces of crap that promise you amazing results in no time, and in fact, you get no results in a bunch of time.
Right, and you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do cardio. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't need to eat right. They never talk about that.
Exactly.
All you have to do is buy this one. How many machines we were just looking at before that you stand on, and either you just stand and hold on and twist, and like that's supposed to take care of everything. It's like that's all you can do on it though. So, and
another one actually, just to bring one up, which some people brought up decent arguments for these, but they were debunked years ago, just when they first came out. But those ab belts, the ones that shock you. Now, what's a common protocol in rehab these days are TENS units, right? Compex is a company that makes them. I have no affiliation with them, just mentioning a brand. And they essentially send an electric shock to your muscle, and they tell you that by putting this on for however many minutes a day, you're going to get in shape. And some people would say, oh, yeah, well, this is actually creating muscle stimulation. But remember, you're not providing the stimulation. So I'm basically debunking this if you haven't heard it and you were thinking this may be something you could use. But these ab belts, you're not actually providing the muscle contraction. You're not using your own ATP in order to contract the muscle, thus burning calories. It's an external source that is shocking you, making your muscles move. So these do not work, and steer clear.
All right, so let's go to the detoxes, the cleanses, the juice diets, the cabbage soup diet. Remember that one?
My mom did that. My mom did. Yeah, she did the soup diet. My mom did the soup diet.
Some of these odd things that people think, I'm going to do a detox. I'm going to do a 3-day cleanse or a 7-day cleanse. And, all it is a bunch of fiber and different herbs and things that just keep them on the toilet for a few days. And they're kind of bloated, gassy, and have diarrhea, and they feel crappy. And they usually don't finish the protocol because they feel awful after the first day. That whole gurgling, gassy, we all know that feeling. Nobody wants to feel like that. Even if you are going to lose 10 pounds on it, I don't want to feel that way.
And the first thing I'll say is that I've had several friends, bunch of friends go on various diets. I've had friends that have gone on fruit diets where that's all they eat. I've had friends that have gone on liquid diets, drink nothing but liquids. I've had friends who have gone on, again, no carb, low carb,
all those,
no sugar. And that one's actually a good one if you can actually do it.
Right.
Because, that's the ideal scenario anyways, as little sugar as possible. And the sugars you eat are from natural sources like fruit. But the problem with these is that, starting with the juice cleanses, our body's not meant to live off liquid. The reason why we have a long, small intestine is because you're supposed to chew food into a bolus. It turns into chyme in your stomach, goes into your intestines, and it has a nice long journey through there where all the little microflora and everything can pull all the nutrients out, and then you poop out.
Pass it through the large, and then out it goes.
Exactly, what wasn't used. But juice flies right through you. So 1, you're not satiated hunger-wise. You're always left hungry. 2, you don't actually get a ton of nutrients out of your food because everything's liquid.
Everything goes through you so fast, and you're not chewing anything either, so there's no satisfying feeling. You're not, your taste buds aren't tasting your food, you're just swallowing it versus that chewing and that whole experience when you eat something. Yeah,
you also don't release the same amount of enzymes. Right. And so this is another little thing that you might notice when you drink a thick shake, whether protein shake or smoothie, notice this next time you do it. You chew. No matter how much that you, even though you understand it's a liquid, try this. Make yourself a thick shake, drink it, guarantee you take a couple bites. And that's because your body has a primal reaction to chew when something viscous goes in your mouth, right?
Right.
Inciting that most of the things that you should eat are probably solids, right? So you're taking in liquids and they're flying right through you. It doesn't give your body that much time to take out the nutrients. So you can actually end up with nutrient deficiencies and left hungry.
Right.
And it often leads to binges because you just want nothing more than to sink your teeth into a delicious, solid piece of food like a steak.
Right. Or they get sugar cravings and they start going for candy or chocolate or something like that because their body wants energy. So they want fast source of carbs that they're going to eat. It's going to break down fast. So they'll go for something simple carbs to get that surge.
Yes.
And another thing, the energy.
Exactly. And another thing about juicing, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm also not saying it's great, because if you were to take all the pieces of fruit that you grind down into a juice and try to eat those all in whole food form, guarantee you wouldn't be able to unless you got a huge appetite. The other thing is, remember, sugar it all turns into the same thing once it's digested and put to use in your body. Glucose, right? Whether it comes from a piece of candy or a piece of fruit.
Right.
I'm not saying that they're both the same and both healthy. I'm just saying they end up being the same thing. There's a bunch of minerals and vitamins and cofactors that are great in fruits, which makes them healthy, and fiber. But if you're taking in liquid sugar for 30 days, you can actually end up becoming closer to pre-diabetes by the end of that 30 days, because all you've been doing is sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, without any mitigation through fiber or fat or anything like that. And your body has a threshold for things like that, like sugar. And too much of it, you can end up actually creating a decline in your health and doing something detrimental for you instead of something healthy.
Right. And there are no disclaimers so that no one tells you that. They just feed you the line that a juice cleanse is going to detoxify your liver, clear your kidneys, and, help your digestion, help you lose weight. You're going to feel better, clear skin, clear eyes, all those things. They tell you all the buzzwords and all the things that people want to hear, which is what they do, which is marketing, and that's how they sell the product. But you have to be a wiser consumer than that and understand that this might not be the best thing. My body does need protein. I do need fiber. I do need other things. And I agree with you, too. A lot of people will juice their vegetables so they can get more vegetables in during the day because maybe they can't eat them all during the day. And that's fine. I have clients that do kale drinks and whatnot, and all that's good, but it's part of a healthy eating diet where you have a balance of your macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats, and then add that stuff in. Or if people use greens powder, sometimes I'll put that in my protein shake. But, to just think that you're going to live on juice, and most people don't follow through. Maybe they get through a day, maybe 2 days. And they usually probably have the runs anyways, because that stuff's going to go right through you and give you diarrhea without question. So and then they just end up probably gaining weight because they feel miserable and they have no energy and they're eating everything. So you really need to think about what the results, what you want your results to be and how you want to get there. Do you want to have nice sustained weight loss and keep it off forever? Or are you looking for a fad that's probably going to leave you not feeling so great and probably with a few extra pounds on you? So you just got to be wary of the juice cleansers and the detoxes and those gimmicks, those gimmicky things. Yes.
And when it comes to detoxing, if you see these words so often in infomercials and in, the media where they're always trying to sell you something new, your body is equipped with organs that detoxify you.
Right.
It's called your liver, right? That's the number one. You got your kidneys, right? Liver mainly, right? And if you put the right fuel in, you get the right performance out. It's just like a car. You buy yourself a Porsche, nice Porsche, and you put 87 in it, not going to work the way it's supposed to. You put the right fuel in, you get the right performance. And the same thing with your body. As long as you're eating healthy food, your organs will take care of cleansing you. You don't have to go on some special crap diet. Look at the civilizations that lived before us years ago, right?
They didn't need detoxes.
No. And I'm not saying they lived as long as we do now because of modern medicine, but they were simple, right? They just ate what was around, and that's what you do. It's it does you no good to think that you're going to outsmart your body, or I hear this all the time. I just want to shock my body into losing fat. When was the last time a shock was a good thing? If you're standing in front of your friend talking to your best friend and they slap you in the face, is that shock fun? No. If you're you're nice and warm, you come out of a hot tub and then you jump into a cold ice bath. Is that fun? No. Right? If you're on the bench press and your friend's like, I'm not even going to tell you how much is on the bar, bro. Just do it, man. I got you.
That's not a
and
good
they
shock.
help you lift it off. They let it go. And now it's on your throat. Not a good shock. Shocks are never good. Your body likes smooth changes in gradient.
Yeah, shock is just not a word that, elicits happy, fun, warm and fuzzy feelings. You know, I mean, when you have little kids, you cover the outlet so they don't stick their finger in and get shocked. I mean, so that's, usually not a good thing. But and the other thing too is with your liver. I mean, your liver turns over your fat cells every 2 weeks to detoxify. So when people go on like a 3-day detox because I'm going to clear out my liver, it's like, well, that's really not going to do much. 3 days. It really takes your liver 2 weeks to turn over your fat cells and detoxify. Your liver will put toxins in your fat cells to store them there because sometimes it's just overload and you'd kill yourself if your liver tried to detox everything, especially with the way we live now and the air we breathe and the products we use and the things we surround ourselves with and plastic containers and whatnot. So just be wary of detoxes and, cutting out sugar like we talked about before with the exception of fruit or taking alcohol out of your diet or maybe cutting back on caffeine. Those are all good things to do. Absolutely. So those aren't fads or gimmicks. Those things can definitely help your health, your long-term health. But to completely remove one food group or, I'm going to want a no protein diet or I'm going to, fasting is a whole different thing too. But sometimes if you don't know what you're doing and people think they're not going to eat for 2 days and just drink water and herbal tea, that could be another, problem, another health problem. So you just have to be a wise consumer. That's all. And ask questions of someone that may have more knowledge in, the health and wellness world before you sort of embark on something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to say ask questions from people who do have more knowledge.
Yes.
And just because they have abs on social media does not make them an expert. So stop. I have to say this now. Just because a girl's got a nice butt does not mean you're going to get one. She might have been born with it, and her exercise has helped extrapolate that already nice butt. The same thing with guys. Oh, this guy has abs. He must know everything.
Right. No,
he might have been born with a great metabolism. He's lean, and he's just looking that way, and he has no idea about different styles of programming or proper nutrition. But so don't ever assume, right? It's just like buying a used car. You wouldn't just, this guy probably took great care of the car. I don't have to look at the Carfax. Oh, come on. You seem like a nice guy. Yeah. Here's the $20,000. Just take it. You. All right, have a great day. And then the car breaks down as soon as you drive down the street. And he's like, see you, sucker.
Yeah, right.
So don't just trust your health, the most important thing you have, to anyone, right? Now, another thing I'm going to debunk is it doesn't matter what time you eat. Eating after 7 p.m. does not make you fat. I compete as a bodybuilder. And since I started at age 14, I have always eaten until late at night, and I've never gotten fat off of it. And I eat a lot of food. We're talking over 400 grams of carbs a day, every day, right? And that's norms. I've gone higher. And I've eaten a big bolus before I go to bed. It's all about your total daily macro intake in relation to what your activity level is, how much muscle you have, all those details, which a nutrition professional can help you with. Again, an intelligent and well-educated nutrition professional can help you with.
Yes, and also, you can't think that you can eat, a bowl of pasta, spaghetti and meatballs and bread and dessert and tiramisu and a couple glasses of wine at 9:30 at night. That's not the kind of meal we're talking about. But, a lot of people do go to restaurants late at night, especially in, the city, like New York City areas, people that entertain clients. So, I mean, you do that night after night after night for a long time, and that's definitely not going to be beneficial. But, what we're talking about is eating a healthy, proportional meal for you, your height, weight, size, goals, all that you would take in maybe at 8, 9 o'clock at night before you go to bed. That would actually be beneficial for your health goals.
Exactly.
Muscle building goals.
And a large part is age as well. And I speak to this to our audiences over 40, my men over 40. you know, you can't get away with what you did when you were 25.
Exactly. Same with women.
I've had plenty of my clients say, like, when I was 25, I used to eat bowls of pasta all day. It's all I ate. I ate it before bed and it didn't matter. Or, I'd go out and drink, go on a bender, and I'd get up and just go to work 3 hours later from coming back from the club. Look, you're not 25 anymore. Your metabolic function changes. Your body changes. You can't get away with as much. You have to. It sucks. That's life. That is father time. But you have to be better to your body as you mature, or else you face the inevitable health issues.
One other thing, too, that I want to cover is, you see a lot of these toning creams, people rubbing these lotions and potions around their midsection, and some people are wrapping themselves up with cellophane or plastic wrap or, some kind of not waistband, but waistband or something, thinking that that's going to just melt water and fat off your midsection so you can get a ripped six-pack ab kind of look. And I would probably say that really does. I've never used anything like that. It ends up just being a sticky, gross mess, especially if you're trying to work out and now you've got all this goop all over your midsection and you're sweating and working out. And I'm sure people are listening that are probably laughing and going, yeah, I've done that. I've absolutely done that, because I've had clients ask me that all the time. Like, what do you think about this? Like, they'll buy one of those sweet sweat bands that I've used.
Sweet sweat.
That's actually they're actually kind of cool when I do cardio, but they sell a tube of lotion with it, and people are like, what should I do with this lotion? I'm like, just throw it out.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to make you sticky and messy and gross, and it's probably going to be a pain in the ass to do your laundry.
Yeah. And, again, a lot of the ingredients in it is nothing.
Yeah.
You don't topically burn fat. You burn fat internally.
Right.
It's from the work you do and your total caloric intake relative to what your expenditure is on a daily basis, i.e. calories in, calories out. It's... the whole waist trainer thing, when you take the thing off and you see these women, mostly women, I've never seen, there are guys who wear waist trainers.
A lot of men's physique competitors wear
them.
them.
And they'll also wear, like regular weight belts, but, these women will take this belt off and you see all this sweat, and it's water. It's because there's more heat in the local area. You've taken more water from under the skin, so you see more definition. But in 1 hour, you don't get leaner by any significant degree.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, well, I couldn't see my abs when I started the stair mill. Then an hour later or 2 hours later, I take this waist trainer off. Oh, sweat everywhere. Well, yeah, you just worked out for 2 hours.
Right.
And look, you can see my abs. Yeah. And as soon as you hydrate yourself again and eat a meal, they're gone again.
I had a client come in one time, and she said, Can you take a look at me, because on my midsection I'm all red and inflamed? And I said, sure, what's going on? So I looked at her, and she was bright red and like had little bumps all over, like from like underneath her breasts down to like the top of like where her bikini line would start. And I'm like, I said, what are you doing? So she was like, well, I bought this like, ab cream kind of fat burner thing, whatever. So I said, when you get home, send me the list. Well, it had like all kinds of cayenne pepper and all kinds of different hot pepper extracts and oils and whatnot. She was literally like burning her skin. I mean, some of that capsaicin is another one. Yeah. I mean, a lot of those products can really hurt your skin and burn and be uncomfortable. So just be, if you feel compelled to try something like that, just do a little spot test first, maybe, and just make sure you don't have a reaction before you smother your body and you turn into looking like not only are you wearing hot pepper, but you're looking like a red pepper.
Yeah, looking like a chili pepper. So, another thing is crunches do not burn fat, okay? Now, what I mean by that is the act of crunches in and of themselves do not burn fat from the abdominal area. You cannot spot reduce fat. You can only go through the actions necessary to induce fat burning, and then it comes from everywhere on your body relatively at the same time. Some areas do get leaner. You typically burn fat from your extremities in, right? The abs are always first to show, last to go.
Right.
But crunches will not do it. I challenge you to show me anyone. You can write in, like, email us, comment to us, whatever it is. Anyone who has gotten super lean in their abdomen area from doing crunches.
Just crunches. Just crunches?
Exactly, okay. Yes. So just know that all the sit-ups and the leg raises are not going to give you six-pack abs. Abs are made in the kitchen.
Right.
It has been true in the past, and it will always be true. And as far as, I'm going to bring up those waist trainers again, because I actually just got a message not too long ago about shrinking your waist. A friend of mine had reached out, and she asked about She wanted a smaller waist. And she had mentioned that she's
Common
doing
question.
oblique exercises and all these ab exercises, and it's not getting as small as she'd like.
Right.
So I'm going to give you a little rundown of this. When we're born, we have a certain waist size, right? I'm not talking about the bones where your hips are, your waist, which is where your obliques are, right above your hip crest, right? All the way around through the belly button and all that stuff, right? That's where the love handles develop. You're born with a certain size waist. Now, as we age, that typically grows as a result of exertion, as
Childbirth.
a result of, for women, childbirth, exactly. For men, oftentimes, if you've been overweight at some point in your life, the accumulation of visceral fat, which is the fat under your skin and around your organs, will make the muscles and the tissues there protrude and expand, right? And if that stays that way for a while, your muscles will adaptively lengthen to that, thus making your abdomen bigger.
Right.
Now, for some men, you lose the weight, the abs go back to the size they were. For other men, it doesn't happen. And if you've seen, think about any older man you've seen with his shirt off. And I'm not talking about a guy who's excessively obese or anything like that. A guy who's relatively normal body fat levels, between like 13 to 18, somewhere in there. They rarely have small, little, tight waists, right? They're usually
13 to 18-year-olds?
percent body fat.
Percent body fat.
They rarely have small waists, right? They have a waist that looks like they're the middle-aged or later-aged guy, right? And that's just a product of life. Now, what you can do is, you've seen a lot of bodybuilders do this, is in order to prevent that adaptive lengthening or expansion of those muscles in your abdomen and the tissues in there, if you wear a belt for when you produce what's called Valsalva. Valsalva is when you take a big inhale, fill yourself with air, and you compress, right, to produce force. Like, imagine your car breaks down on the side of the road and you push. You breathe in, big inhale, you bear down and you push, right? That creates pressure in your abdomen and that expands outward. If you wear a belt, that will limit the amount of expansion your abdomen can go through, which is why a lot of these women wear the waist trainers, why guys, including myself, wear belts when we work out. But putting on a cream, like Linda said, is not going to work.
No.
You can go through different, you can do different things to help make sure your abdomen doesn't get any bigger than it already is.
Right.
But you're not going to shrink it past your genetic size.
Now, being a woman, and I've worn waist trainers when I've been competing and dieting down, definitely have worn them. And the leaner you get, obviously the smaller your waist is going to get. So, I mean, that's one way. So if a woman wants a smaller waist, she's going to need to get leaner and, lose body fat. That's one way to get a smaller waist. Wearing a waist trainer can be beneficial. It gives you, that tight feeling. It holds you in. When you take it off, you definitely have a silhouette shape, because I've worn them when we take it off, like you said. But then after you relax a little bit, your body sort of fills back in. But they can work a little bit, but the thing is that some of these women take it to the nth degree and they wear them super tight,
like corsets.
Yeah, and then yes, you can do some damage to internal organs if you squeeze yourself long enough. And they live in them, they sleep in them, cardio, work in them. I mean, it becomes like an addiction almost. Yeah. So when I've used one in the past, I've worn one for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then I take it off. Always when I'm upright, if I'm working with clients or if I'm training, but never seated, because it gets very uncomfortable. So, but the bottom line is, like you said, if you want to have a smaller waist, you're going to need to get leaner. That's one way that you're going to get that waist a little bit smaller. But, if you're a woman over 40, over 50, and you've had a lot of children, and you've had some you've had excess weight from being pregnant, our bodies don't always go back to the way we were pre-childbirth. That's just the way it is. Not to say you can't look great, but you're probably not going to have that waist you had when you were 25.
Exactly. And that's also why it's important to be fit before pregnancy.
Right.
Because I have one woman who I've trained through 4 babies now.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, and because she was fit going in to the pregnancies, her pregnancy was much faster. Like labor, she wasn't in labor crazy long. She recovered very quickly. She got the clear to work out again.
Right.
And she gained her body back pretty fast. But if you go into it out of shape and overweight, then the weight you put on during pregnancy stretches your abdomen out. You could get diastasis recti and all these things.
Well, being pregnant is not a reason to just sit down and eat anything that you want for 9 months. And I have 2 children, and I worked out right till the bitter end with mine. I think up to a week before I had both of mine snapped right back. So it's, with the effort you put in is going to pay off. So this is pretty good. I think we covered some really good gimmicks and hacks, fad diets, abs, oh my.
Yes, we've definitely beat this subject to death. Now, again, we want
Yes.
interaction from you guys. We want to hear what you guys have to say. So if you have any questions about anything that you've seen, you're wondering if it's good, whether it's a supplement or an exercise, a piece of equipment or an ab belt or whatever it might be, email us.
Ask.
Remember my email, Christian F as in Frank, Palmer @gmail.com.
And you can reach me through my website at lindamstevens.com. And make sure, you subscribe, tell your friends to listen to our podcast. Our goal is to build a large audience so that we can help as many people as we can. Give us 5 stars, subscribe, all those things, hit bells, whatever you got to do. We want to build and give you as much good information as we can. So
exactly. And
we need you.
great idea. And Relentless Fitness and Nutrition.com is my website. So, yes, do all those things that Linda said.
Yes.
And we want to hear from you guys. Tell us what you want to hear about because we will deliver it to you.
Yes. It's fun for us to help you.
Exactly. And with that, remember, don't fall for the gimmicks. Hard work is the only way.
It always pays off.
Thank you for joining us. We release a new podcast every Thursday, so make sure you tune in. To contact us, visit our websites, relentlessfitnessandnutrition.com
and lindamstevens.com. Also, visit our YouTube channel, King Christian and Queen Linda. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
See you next time.